Hey folks, it's Matt from Techie World here. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Kingston FCR-HS3 USB 3 card reader, or media reader as Kingston prefer to put it on the box. Now if you don't know much about Kingston, they make a whole host of memory products including USB flash drives, solid state drives, RAM for your computer and card readers like this. They make a whole assortment of memory related products. Now how we're going to do this review, we're going to start by taking a look at the outside of the box and the card reader itself. We'll then move on to some testing with my SanDisk Extreme 32GB SDHC card, and then we'll wrap it up with a lovely conclusion. So stay tuned. Right then, here's the packaging itself. Now as you can see, it is USB 3, it comes with a 2-year guarantee, and here's a window with the actual product underneath, so you can have a look at it if you're buying it in a shop. Taking a look at the back, you can see there is the included USB cable. It is compatible with Windows 7, Windows Vista and Windows XP, but if you're using it with Windows 8 you can download some firmware for the card reader off Kingston's site that will allow it to work quite happily with Windows 8. Now I'm just going to run through the different memory cards that this supports. It supports Compact Flash Type 1, Compact Flash Type 2, SD, SDHC, SDXC, micro SD, micro SDHC, micro SDXC, memory stick Pro, memory stick Duo, memory stick Pro Duo and memory stick M2. So quite a large variety of cards that's supported there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the packaging open because it is all heat sealed around the edge, and we'll bring you back in a second. Right then, now I've got the packaging open. Kingston do supply a USB 3 cable. This is 0.9 meters long, has a regular USB 3 connection on one end and a USB 3 micro B connection on the other. Taking a look at the card reader, it does have this kind of brushed metal look. Now this isn't actually like brushed metal, it is just plastic. We have a Kingston logo that flashes red when a card is in use. On the back we have the micro B USB 3 connection where you plug the cable in, and on the front you have the card slots. Now one thing I would like to point out is this surface is gloss, so it will pick up fingerprints if you're plugging cards in and out regularly. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to test the card reader and I'll put some graphs up and we'll talk about the results. Right then, very briefly before I show you the test results, I wanted to point out that the cable is 1 meter, not 0.9 meters as I mentioned earlier, and I also wanted to show you the light. Now as you can see, it remains constant when there is a card plugged in, and when you start reading or writing to the card, the light flashes like so. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you the test results from the testing I've done, and we'll wrap it up with the conclusion. For clarification purposes, the card reader was updated to the latest firmware, version 0131, before running any of these tests. The card reader was plugged directly into the back USB port on the motherboard. The card reader was plugged in using the supply cable only, no extensions were used or anything like that. And the card we used for testing was the SanDisk Extreme 32GB SDHC card. Now you're mainly looking at the sequential read and write for the throughput of the card reader. I ran 3 tests, a 50 meg test, a 100 meg test and a 500 meg test, and as you can see the card reader was well able to handle the throughput of the card. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to wrap this up with a conclusion. Right then, the conclusion. In this part of the video I'm going to cover the advantages and disadvantages that I saw with the product. Now I'm going to start with the disadvantages. I wasn't a fan of the rubber strips on the bottom. They seemed quite hard and they didn't seem particularly sticky. So when you was plugging cards in and out, I had a tendency to want to move around on my desk. Another thing was the gloss finish on the front and the back. Now in areas where you're going to have your hands plugging the cable, USB cable in and out and plugging cards in and out, I didn't think that was a wise move to have a gloss finish. I would have liked to have seen the same brushed metal look on the front and the back. Onto the advantages, I like how small the card reader is. It fits in the palm of your hand and is really lightweight, so you could quite easily pop it in your laptop bag for travelling. I also like the fact that Kingston didn't use a proprietary connector for the USB cable. It's just a micro B USB 3 connector, so you could quite easily replace the cable should you damage or lose the original. And finally, I like the fact that it supports such a wide variety of formats and it wasn't limiting my SanDisk Extreme 32GB SD card at all. It was quite able to handle the throughput of that card. Now, I didn't have any other cards to test it further on, but from those performance results, I would quite happily recommend this card reader. So Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and thanks for watching.